What's the last drug you did?
Aspirin.
Wow. I thought you were going to say acid. What's the biggest issue facing New Mexico right now?
That's a good question. Man, that second question, that was tough. The biggest issue facing New Mexico, can I
We can table that. Oh,
No, I just wanted to. No, I'm not offended by it. But like, I heard somebody say something. Listen, I'm not from New Mexico, and I definitely didn't come on the show to be controversial. Maybe this is more universal than just local. But someone from here told me that it's cultural pride to feel jealousy. So there's pride and a jealous feeling, And if that's part of the culture, I feel like that's something that could change.
do you mean everyone here wants something more when you say jealousy?
There's nothing wrong with that. I just feel like there's no reason to compare.
Okay.
There's no reason to compare. Just move forward.
Yeah.
And I think this place could prosper in genuine ways. In some ways, it is. It's like I never meant to stumble on a place so progressive as New Mexico in terms of freedom of living.
Mm-hmm.
And just people you really, in some aspects, you can really be free to be yourself.
Yeah, I feel like at the base of all of it, it's libertarian. It's like a do as you please, live how you prefer.
Listen, I'm not here to tell anyone how to live.
Yeah.
I have my recommendations, but not, I'm not imposing and I'm not holding anyone against it. Free will is a great gift, and I think it's a beautiful choice and evidence of a divine perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like live your life. It's yours too. It's
Amen.
ours too.
If you could change one thing about this show, what would it be?
This show?
Yeah.
I want you to have your ideal settings.
With the lights?
I want you to have your ideal settings.
Settings?
Like, if you could have everything you wanted, that's what I want.
I want to go live stream.
Forget what I want. That's what I want. That's what I want. I want you to have your ideal setting. And then I want to be able to come back and be like, wow, so this is what you thought of,
That's cool.
Yeah.
All right. You're listening to Artist with Brian. I'm Brian, here with
Michael Burt.
Michael is a musician in the broadest and deepest sense of the word.
That's very nice.
Thank you so much for coming.
I'm so glad to be able to be here.
Now, in the spirit of generosity, I've been granted, which is a quote from your Instagram. We so begin the interview.
Woo!
As a kid, what did you want to be when you grew up?
Relevant.
Wow. Relevant.
Yeah.
To your family, to your community, to art as a whole?
All of the above.
All of the above?
Yeah.
Wow. What does the kid in you want to do now?
Be able to play sports at the best of my ability.
Really? So you're feeling your age?
Yeah. And I've had some other things happen too that have taken away some things that were attributes when I was for a long time. Like we were talking about being in Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
I used to live in Clarendon, Virginia, which is like on the northern part of Virginia, around Georgetown.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to run from First Street all the way to Georgetown, through Boston, past the ABC News Center, and then cross the bridge going into Georgetown, and then turn around and come back and do it all again.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't do that now.
No.
I've had some things happen, and
yeah.
So the child in me, my most natural instinct is to do things at the level that my heart wants it to do.
Oh yeah.
But age takes that away, and in circumstance,
Yeah, so you might be referring to getting T-boned by a propane truck on Highway 14.
Also having a heart attack.
You've had a heart attack.
I didn't mention that on my Instagram. There's a whole, there's
a heart attack related to the accident?
No, heart attack.
Separate.
It's a whole nother life I was living in Virginia before I came out here to New Mexico.
You mean a less healthy lifestyle?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you came here for some solace and some rejuvenation.
I came here because my mom used to say, before she died shortly before I came here, she used to say, I can do bad all by myself. And what that meant for me was that you can fail anywhere. So why did I need to be around a situation who was with people who were promoting my failure and also like insisting on it? And so when I feel like in the spirit of what my mom said, that I could, since I know I could go anywhere, when I got the opportunity to move to New Mexico, I was taking it. I was like, listen, if I end up homeless, broke, with no company, like it's still better than where I am right now.
Amazing.
So I just figured on the sheer odds. And also, full disclosure is something I'd been praying for very desperately. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Deliverance from evil.
Yeah. Well,
not specifically New
really.
Mexico. What were you praying?
Just say evil. I would just say deliverance from an impossible situation.
I've been there.
Yeah.
Yeah. In New Mexico, though. So where do you go if you're at rock bottom when you're in New Mexico, right?
Los Alamos. Go to Los Alamos. I think they kidnapped me and then injected me with some serum that actually made me a smarter person.
What was the impetus to come out here other than fleeing Virginia? What got you over here? Was there a job?
It was someone in my congregation, a brother of mine. He's very special to me. I call him like my adopted brother. His name's Ryan McCarg. I don't want to put him on the spot, but after a very desperate and very earnest prayer, the very next day, one of three things I prayed for in particular happened. And surprisingly, he said to his during a meeting we were having, he said to his wife, he came to me and said, Michael, I talked to my wife and we think that you should come to New Mexico with us.
So he was on his
way.
Totally
random.
Wow, that's beautiful. Yeah, and you were ready for a change, so it was just like
literally.
It was like
I'd hit a wall.
It rang completely true for you
because I had just had a heart attack. Part of that heart attack was me living in a desperate situation where I wasn't really acknowledged. I wasn't validated. All the success that I've had in New Mexico, where it was long lost. Like it was 10 years gone since I had done my Broadway stuff, since I had done the cruise ship stuff. I fell into an environment that tolerated and encouraged me to be the least I could be.
Wow.
And on all levels, really. But amazingly enough, that desperate prayer that I had right on the money.
Yeah.
The next day, someone asked me to move to New Mexico. And that's the catalyst for everything that started after. That whole 10 years in between is its own story,
Yeah. Were you religious prior to those 10 years?
I always had a reverence for God, particularly. But, and I've always had great confidence that no matter what, like, I don't think that someone is not there for me, and I've always kind of understood that about life. Maybe some people might even say that that's stupid and I'm blind for feeling that way,
Interesting.
But
so that's faith.
Yeah.
You gotta put the burden on almost a divine person, because nobody in particular can carry it for you.
If faith can fall for everyone, faith can fall into like a lot of things. Like I think politics is faith.
How so?
People feel they put their lives in the hands of people to make decisions for them and support them in a way that is irreverent.
Yep.
Yep. Joe Biden, Donald Trump. These are to man. It seems like to me that it's like has a religious tinge.
I know you're asking the president to shoulder your burdens, even your emotional burdens. It almost sees that's how campaigns are run. Yeah. And I one of the questions I ask is what does the word of God mean to you? And we're right here, right now. You did a good answer. It's pretty good. What does the word God mean to you? Do you have anything else to add? Love. Beautiful.
There's a lot that falls into love too. You get, I don't mean, somebody told me, my Spanish friend told me that love, he's from Puerto Rico. He told me that in Spanish, there's like many different words for love.
Yep.
And so we kind of get robbed from the scope of the definition in English. We kind of have to infer it. maybe even English in a sense is more of like you kind of have to infer certain things.
Yeah.
So like, I mean love in all inferences. You got, that's what I mean. God is love. Like he possesses all those things. And that's we could learn a lot from that.
That's beautiful. Your life has changed dramatically since moving to New Mexico. It's gorgeous. It's dramatically. It's such good news.
It's shocking.
Yeah.
Like how I didn't see it coming. That's part of the reason I had my heart attack. Because life seemed so impossible. Like when I was in my young 20s, I was living a dream life, doing that Broadway stuff, being able to go from place to place and respected for something that was like very expensive, very like I guess you could say it was living in a world of fame and notoriety, right? Mm-hmm. And then coming home, and then that disappearing, and then you just go. I went from there to like the lowest like expectation of myself, and I fought against it for years and years and years until I gave up. This is not these 10 years is not a victory story. Before I came to New Mexico, I was completely defeated.
It's your wandering in the desert.
They say New Mexico calls out to certain types of people,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's funny.
Was part of your low in Virginia because you had been so high in New York and you didn't know how to get back? Were you pushed out somehow?
I think that what you're saying is true. And I think that also what is true is that I was just naturally sitting on great potential, and it wasn't being used, and it wasn't being acknowledged, and in some situations it was being ignored.
Mm-hmm.
And when the core of who you are as a person is invalidated, you just begin to die. It's almost like taking a plant and just closing the door. There's no light, no water.
You're sick. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're without.
So I just begin to die.
Life's blood.
I just begin to die. Eating bad food. I lost my motivation to try to succeed because it seemed like every time I tried to succeed, that the door was closed.
Yeah. I try to remind myself, if I have that feeling, I'm just on a bad run. Luck will turn around. Like, sometimes you just go on a streak. The universe puts you on a streak of bad news, and just waiting for that little bit of good news to like give me hope again.
Yeah. I also consider though some people just have bad news their whole life.
Exactly. Oh my God.
Why am I laughing at that?
No,
I think that's what made me sad.
It's so
Brian,
true.
Because what you said for like 28 years of my life, I lived in that truth. And then I began to realize that like, some people just suffer all the way to the end.
Yeah.
And
a tragedy without a silver lining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we live in a society that tells ourselves that anything is possible at any given moment. And that's why I feel like we're running, did you hear about that shortage of people to work?
In general, absolutely.
I think there's a lot of people right now sitting on the hopes that something will pan out. Right.
Oh, something better than a day job.
Yeah.
And waiting.
And maybe it's an American thing that we have this thing that we live on the hopes of these dreams and these schemes that just pop off. Right.
Yeah.
And we haven't embraced what the rest of the third and second world nations know, that you're just happy to work at all.
Yeah.
Like,
what they know. Beautifully said. I love it.
And so we're kind of sitting on a society that doesn't understand the gravity of work ethic, or
the holiness of hard work, or holiness of a hard day's work.
It is. I think King Solomon said it. He said, the greatest thing for a man to do is to work hard and to enjoy the fruits of his work. Mm-hmm. What else can we do, really? I mean, to me, even TV is not even that good. It'd be different if TV was that good.
Yeah.
TV's not even that good.
I feel there's so much of it. It's just all lower quality. The writers, the actors, the directors, they're all distributed across millions of projects now. Mm-hmm. So you're just getting a lot of B+ work. Like,
is it just me, or does it seem like everybody wants to be in the entertainment industry now?
I heard
is it just me that I'm in the
they do surveys of children right now, and the number one job, it's supplanted athlete, YouTuber. Every kid wants to be a YouTuber.
Oh, gracious.
I know.
Oh boy.
I heard the tragedy of that. Someone said the tragedy of that is it's like golf or writing. Like a YouTuber is a dream you can hold your whole life. It's not like you age out of it like sports, where you give up and you get that day job and learn to enjoy the simple things. You can hold on to that hollow dream forever until you die.
Oh man,
that's dark.
It might not be hollow to them who are doing it, and that's the really dark part.
Well, some will get through. Some are meant to do it.
Yeah,
but it's the most popular dream for children.
I think it's a neat endeavor, but what people don't understand is, to me, that's politics as well in a way, because you're recommending yourself, which is a lot of pressure.
It is.
It's a lot of pressure to recommend yourself.
What do you mean recommend? Like promote yourself?
Yeah, no matter. That's why I lay so low, man.
Yeah.
I try to do the work I try to stay behind the scenes. I do the work.
Mm-hmm. But
the work is the work. And the fame is ultimately just pressure.
Yeah.
To recommend, what I mean by recommend yourself is like what I do every day to say that this is a life that's enviable, watchable. That's a bold assumption, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bold assumption.
I'm feeling the pressure. Thank you so much for being guest 50.
Oh,
but it's it feels
confetti. Balloons,
yeah, you're for me. I'm blessed to have you here because I've been stalling out as the host. I think I've been feeling this pressure you're talking about so eloquently. It's like, do I really want to? Do I want to be out here all the time?
This is an art, though. The interview is an art.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. I like your cadence. I like your speaking cadence. I think that has a lot to do with it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Relaxing.
It's well spaced.
Interesting.
It gives it's like what's that? You remember that show? They had the artists, the actors come on live at the Actors Studio. Is that what it's called? Kind of has that feeling. I can't remember the name of the host, but you kind of ask a question and then the space says there's gravity.
Yeah, I'm trying to even do a better job at that. I've gotten some feedback.
Oh, really?
Trying to be a better listener, on and off screen.
Yeah, the interviews, it's a job and it's a skill. It's a real skill. There's great people here in the Santa Fe area too. Like you wouldn't even know it. So many people who are here.
Well, that's what the show's for. Mm-hmm. I came here to meet other artists, and I realized that they're kind of all doing the work behind closed doors.
Yeah.
So I got to invite them out.
Yeah.
To meet them.
Yeah. As far as all that YouTube stuff is concerned, I'm not judging, because it goes back to kind of what I was saying. This life is hard. You got to survive, but there's a conflation of interest here, because if we're saying our younger generation is waiting for YouTube to make their money, then they'll also don't wonder why there's a big shortage of workers now, of people who don't want to work, because these kids don't want to work. They want to go on, or they want to work on YouTube, and they want to joke and crack jokes and post their lives for a living. That's where the workers are.
Yeah,
that's where the workers are.
We're professionalizing narcissism. That would be a negative light.
I'll say this. I was fortunate to come up in a time where there was a funnel that fame you had to go through to be famous.
Yes, gatekeepers.
Yeah, there were gatekeepers. I feel like I was fortunate to come up in a time where those gatekeepers still existed, and I got to meet them because there was a measure for success, and with that measure gone, or that measure. Now you have a choice not to acknowledge that measure.
Yes, so, you still can play that game if you want.
Yeah.
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 There are old art forms, old institutions, some machinery. Even in the movies, theaters still exist, even though Netflix wins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's kind of a thanklessness that comes now with the competition. And it's like there's great people who've done things in the past. And now, out of the spirit of competition forgets that. So I feel like we almost live in a society that is trying to reinvent the wheel that's already been invented and perfected. But because the average Joe, no disrespect, I mean, there's people who are great at a multitude of things, but now everyone thinks they're qualified to do the things that used to come through that funnel. There's no real respect for people who do things with great gravity.
I hope this is an ephemeral moment in the history of the arts. I agree with you. I really hope it's a short season, because I think it'll come back around. There's so much content. The content's getting lower and lower quality.
Right.
Yeah.
I have seen some good stuff lately too.
Yeah. Well, you were on a really, really big movie produced by Jay-Z called The Harder They Fall.
I had a little part of that.
Yeah, that's now streaming on Netflix. What was it like to work for Jay-Z?
I feel like they took such good care of us. It was outrageous.
Yeah.
Like, I've never been better cared for.
Yeah.
I can honestly say.
Good craft services, but also, what else did they do?
Very accommodating. Very professional. There were some long days, but mostly very, very well done. Very considerate. I don't know if it was for the sake of the shoot, but they definitely made sure that everything went through without flaw. And if there was a semblance of a flaw, they did what they had to do to make sure it was taken care of.
Okay. Did they ask you how you're feeling? What was it, that high touch?
No, instead they replaced that with just making sure we were well taken care of.
Okay.
Like I've done some pretty swanky stuff, and that falls right up there with the top of it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So Netflix and Jay-Z are both great employers. You heard it here.
The thing is that part of the entertainment industry is so wacky, man.
And there's so many layers, and
it's so wacky. It's like, what makes a day go by? It's so ebb and flow. It moves so fast, and something that you think is going to happen can get ripped away from you right in a second. And then, your show can get cut in an instant. Your part can get cut in an instant. Then you can come back in an instant. You never know. Then you can have a speaking role in an instant. It's just like, it's very whew.
And you had a cool hybrid role. You were an actor and musician on screen. They
caught the scene that they caught me on. When the movie came out, I noticed how many people were cut from things I thought they were going to be in.
Yeah.
I didn't think I was going to get any shot time on there at all. But I got a nice scene where I was playing piano, and they hit me catching the action, and I got to whip my head around.
Oh, nice.
And while I was playing the piano, but I was really there for what it was worth. Like, call it if it didn't seem like acting. I was really there. Like, in my mind, I was in love with Zazie Beetz' character.
Okay.
And when I saw she was in trouble, I was worried.
Wow.
But it felt like everybody else was there too.
Beautiful.
That's the first time I've ever experienced anything like that. I don't have any acting experience.
So you lived in the story world on that set.
Just like playing, as a string player, because that's where the roots of what I was a classically trained string bass player. We're orchestra players. We're trained to take acting cues. Like when we see something, we'll see like maestoso or like in a marching style or spirited. We have to channel ourselves to jump into those things and be able to create those the spirit of those things.
Yes,
it's just acting
with posture.
It's the same thing. I'm not saying that it doesn't require other aspects.
Acting because the orchestra audience expects. They're watching you. Yeah. They're watching you. It's not it's as simple as that.
Well, I was just even saying because the cues on the scores of music, you'll get a score that says light.
Yeah.
Light. So you got to be like, oh, I got to keep thinking, from start to finish.
You got to feel light.
This character,
your
in a sense,
light.
I'm in the character that makes this thing go light for this certain period, and then doing the Broadway stuff when you're supporting so much emotion on stage.
Yeah.
Like you're jumping from one pole to the next pole as the songs change. I feel like at least the root of that, and I didn't have any speaking roles, and I don't portend to be any great actor, but it seems like the root of those things are the same.
What were you doing on Broadway? Keeps coming up.
Playing string bass, playing electric bass.
In the orchestra pit?
In the pit. Which is, like, keep in mind, I was still pretty young, and I was doing a job that much older people were around. And so I got a perspective of the music industry from that perspective that I think that younger people totally miss now. They don't really understand. Those guys I was working with, they come from the age of when they were playing every day. When Michael Jackson recorded an album with real musicians. You know, some of those guys were on the hits. You know what I mean? Yeah. And they're working every day because there's no MIDI keyboards. Guys are working together. And I think that togetherness is also part of what's lost in this day and age is people don't really know how to play in sync.
Yeah.
You know, how many people go to music school? Like, there's more people than ever to go to music school, wouldn't you say?
Interesting.
And yet, there's no Steely Dan. And yet, there's no Beatles. And yet, there's no James Brown. It's like, we can't hit those marks. And yet, everybody is trained in the schooling of music. And I really think it just literally goes back to, like, people don't have the applications of playing together that they used to. Like, everyone playing together. Not just, like, be free, be emotional. But like everybody playing together, like these are hits, these are lines, this is your part, you know. Wow, I feel like that's lacking a lot. I'm sorry, I'm going on so many tangents.
No, it's beautiful. You just inspired me. Just the idea that we're missing the greats. Yeah. The whole movement of social media and everyone can be a star. We're missing the hard work and the daily effort.
Oh yeah,
it's super inspiring.
Wow,
to me
thanks.
As a writer, yeah. I listen back to these, so you are helping me and hopefully about 500 people right now.
Hey.
If it weren't for music, what would you be doing?
Well, I teach a lot. You know, do you take teaching out of the equation? You could take teaching out of the equation.
Well, you're teaching music, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like say music wasn't discovered. What would you do to get by?
I've had a lot of odd jobs. You know, talking about the 10 years that I was away, I was living in my mom's basement trying to, without the power of my musical ability, I was uneducated. I was just, what do you call it? Someone who doesn't have a degree, unskilled labor.
Oh.
So I went from doing Broadway to being unskilled labor to the whole world. It's like, I think it's a dichotomy that I don't think anybody in my life really understood, because when you're with having no skills, you're only worth about $10, you know? And so I've had jobs where I used to do telemarketing, which was all right. And I think that helped me a lot in life. There's one job I took giant augers, and we would dig 300 feet holes into the ground. And my job was to climb up the drill, bang that thing out, and the loader would come down with another auger, and then I have to jump onto the next auger and bang the nail back into it, and then get off, and the loader would take the drill and then spin it and then start digging these holes. And then when the cement came, we would take the cement, and I would have to hold on to the cement in front of these 300-foot pits, you know, 150 to 300 foot pits.
And you could fall in.
Oh, yeah, easily.
Oh, my God.
I think sometimes people would try to push you in because there's people, let's just say, without saying anything culturally, there's people who are really invested in the work that they're doing. They have to make this money to survive and for the people in their lives to survive. Those are the people I was working with. I remember one time there was we were trying to steady the ball of the loader that had just come on, and there was a group of guys that were very anxious to do it. And one guy took his hand because you want to show the foreman that you can do a good job. You want to show boss you can do a good job. Boss, I can do a good job. I can do anything, boss. I can do this. I can do this, boss. I can do this. You know, he took his hand and he pushed me toward the hole. And do you know what I did? Unbelievable. I don't think I've ever even told this story to many people. I grabbed onto the ball, swung over the 300-foot hole, and when it came over, I landed. Other than that, I would have fell into the hole.
Did you quit after that?
I didn't work there too much longer after that, yeah.
Did anyone fall in the hole during your tenure?
On other crews. There was one time during a drill that was a former gas station there, and the guy drilling had hit some gas or something, and the friction caused a giant flame to come up, and it burnt the guy who drove the loader's eyebrows off.
Wow. Yeah.
And I think I was getting about $17 for that job.
Because of the danger.
Maybe so. But
yeah. Wild.
Yeah. But so you asked the question, what would I do if I wasn't doing music? I've had a lot of opportunity to explore that. I painted houses,
That's safer. Still ladder work.
Well, at 40 feet high.
Yeah.
See, the thing is, in order to survive, you got to take risks.
In order to survive, you got to be willing to die. Literally in this case, but also.
Well, when you're a $10 an hour guy, naturally, when they take away your skill and you become unskilled, in order to survive,
you're risking death every day.
Well, I just wanted
being maimed or severed.
And that's just to get a few bucks more than minimum wage.
Right.
Do you ever hear about those guys? There's a documentary on Netflix that the guy he climbs these giant ladders to get to the top of these caves. And they take the dung of the swallow, and it's very valuable, and they use it for soup.
Okay.
You ever heard of this?
No. But the dangerous part of that job is climbing that ladder.
Yeah, and they do that and walk through the jungle just to get enough to make food for their family.
Oh, it's not even for profit. I thought it was some exclusive luxury item.
It is. They use it for soup.
But it's sustenance.
They sell it as a luxury item.
They sell it a luxury item to afford their own food. Gotcha.
Yeah. That's what life is really about, survival. And if people find life hard right now, it's because right now life is asking us to survive. And as a nation, I feel like we're vastly under-equipped for this concept.
Life is asking for us to survive.
Things are getting expensive. People have to work harder, work more, have to do more, endure more, sacrifice more of a quality of life. It's more of like the ways that probably like our parents lived, or even our grandparents.
Except they had affordable real estate,
and they knew what it was like to work. I mean, take a generation back from our grandparents. There's probably somebody cutting down a tree to build a house.
Yes. You go far back enough, everybody was unskilled labor.
Yeah. If life gets hard out here in these streets, like we just got a bunch of actors and rappers and holistic people.
Holistic.
What skills are we going to have to really survive? Oh, we got a lot of farmers. That's for sure.
Farmers with weed, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't that funny? Like everyone that's growing weed is going to switch to tomatoes at some point. They're going to be American heroes. Yeah. Fascinating. How many instruments do you own?
Do I own?
Yeah.
My guitar, my upright, violin, cello, viola. No, I don't have viola. Did I say piano?
Not yet.
My melodica.
Okay, we're at 6. I know one that you haven't mentioned. Perhaps you sold it. Your organ?
I still have my organ.
Okay, yeah. We're at 7. So when I said musician in the deepest and broadest sense of the word, I mean, you're multi-talented.
Yeah.
Are you a composer, first and foremost?
I am. And I do some writing for people behind the scenes. Mm-hmm. I have some good friends that I do stuff for behind the scenes, and I hope it leads to their benefit. I just like to be more of a help.
Yeah, you listed facilitator as your number one attribute in your Instagram bio. And I that intrigued me because...
Because the thing is I know so many people and so many breadths of the industry. And I'm just so thankful to say that if people understood that and had certain ambitions, they could use them. I don't care. People got to survive. I'm here to help.
Absolutely. You're connecting dots for other people, and God willing, someone will connect you to a dot down the road.
I don't even care about my connection.
That's the thing. Yeah, you don't need it to come back. It's like it's the faith that it's the right thing to do. Yeah. It's like an instinct.
It's nothing. It's nothing.
And it pays forward.
Yeah.
Yeah. If everyone acted that way, life would be heaven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a nice thought, actually. I was telling my coworker, because one of my main gigs is I'm at El Dorado Community School, and I teach his kids there, the string kids, the orchestra kids. I teach them violin and cello and viola and bass. privately. I don't teach the music. I just teach them privately through that school.
Mm-hmm.
And I told them, I was like, if everyone wanted to be a head coach, teams wouldn't be that good. I'm very happy in my role, just being able to assist people to be able to fulfill their ambitions, understanding music, and if they feel like they have something to say, like, how can I help? You know? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What's your favorite Bible verse?
That's a good question because you mind if I cheat and look at it?
Well, I have one written down from your Instagram.
Oh, yeah. What did I say?
Job 5:11. And those who mourn are lifted to safety.
Wow, did I write that?
I know Philippians something. It's on John Jones.
I love that. Did I write that down?
You wrote it down, yeah, man. Man. People got to go check out your Instagram at Michael_Burt_music. Burt is BURT. You have a poem beneath your post about getting T-boned by the propane truck, which is absolutely gorgeous.
Oh.
Well, I should have said beautiful. I've already said gorgeous. But you read that poem alone, you think Michael's just a poet. So a man of many talents.
Yeah, I think of King David, who wrote Psalms, and that's a pretty poetic book of the Bible, and he's a poet, but he was a warrior. He was a man, he wasn't soft, and I I don't want to be wouldn't want to be a rapper, because I feel like if you're going to be a rapper, you always have to trend toward the bass. Like, the thing is I think there's a lot to be said in prose and poetry, King David's a good example of that, because a lot of those psalms, the things that he said to comfort people, are it's so poetic.
They're written poetically.
Yeah.
I like the Psalms. I think I went to Catholic church growing up, and I think they would like do responsorials with the Psalms.
Was it in Latin?
No, English.
Oh, okay.
Occasionally I'd go to Spanish because, we were late and we just do the Spanish Mass.
Oh, okay. Are you Spanish?
To fulfill our duty. No, but that's just my mom. We're like, oops, we woke up too late. We got to do the Spanish Mass. I mean, it's still Mass. It's a ritual, so it hits all the beats. What were you like in high school?
What was I like?
Yeah.
I chased after every girl I could.
Interesting.
I was given a long leash because I had talent, and I was in outer space. Like, I used to, let's put it like this. I used to go to class, and the teacher would say, Michael, you haven't been in class in 2 days. Listen, if you don't want to come to class, just tell me that you're not going to be there. I'd be like, I don't think I'm going to be there today. And the teacher would say, oh, okay. Thanks, Michael.
Long leash for musical talent.
Yep. If I ever got a headache, there's anything I ever needed to get away, I just went to the orchestra hall.
You were that transcendent in high school that you were treated like a
quarterback? Maybe undeservedly, in retrospect, but yes.
Amazing.
So you can understand what that might do to somebody's mind,
What advice would you give that person now?
Learn music theory.
Really? They didn't have AP. You didn't do AP music.
If I would have learned as a kid the things that I was, what I teach kids now, I mean, I was doing Broadway that young. Who knows? Thing is musicians have a tendency to make music seem like it's harder than it really is. What music really requires is discipline and an aptitude to really do the same things over and over again.
Over and over again.
And also being, if you're really great musician. And one thing I say about is that people say, when I talk about Broadway, they roll their eyes. But consider this, it's perfect every time the product comes out. It's perfect.
Yes, that's an old school value too.
Every night that you go in, it's perfect.
Yep.
The singers make you want to cry every night.
And if someone is sick, they don't put them on. They have someone that's been trained just in that event
and hungry for the stardom. And they have honed their skills and their hunger. Mm-hmm. That there's something to be said about that kind of excellence.
Yeah. Do you think the art should be competitive?
Not competitive, but it should be merit. There should be some kind. It should be at least in some way meritorious. And I don't mean through the education system. Mm-hmm. I just mean like I wish idealistically, which I don't think is ever going to happen, that it was measured on the merits of people's feelings about things. But maybe more than ever, art is about how people perceive things mm-hmm. as a mass in mass. So it's more out of a social pressure.
Yeah, it's not being curated by like a veteran of the space. It's the public's deciding. Almost the advertising industry is deciding.
I don't mind that about art either. It's just that people have a tendency to want to do what's popular, but not necessarily what's sincere.
Oh, yeah.
If anything, what social media has done is it extended our high school minds from high school to forever.
Yeah.
Like we actually never really leave high school now.
Well, it's kind of terrifying to think that, and Facebook's so old, but it did this immediately. There's people that or parts of your life that you just kind of want to forget and burn off the deadwood and reinvent yourself. But you have this electrical connection to all your old selves. I feel the psychic load of that. I
read an article that said, that there's so much insight on people's kids now that scammers can make profiles on, because they've seen your kids from start to finish through your postings. They've literally got a dossier on your whole life now.
Yeah, and do they call that? It's a type of hacking, social engineering or something,
mm-hmm.
where you know so much about the person they're just convinced that you are from the bank or the insurance company.
Yeah, somebody almost got me the other day. I just went on. It said United States Postal Service, and they said I had a package that I needed $3 to make the whole screen looked the same, and it was all perfectly just like USPS.
Wow.
And it had except I couldn't click on anything. And but except for the information things, so I could put the information into the database. And then the next piece of information was my credit card info, but it wouldn't give me the option. I stopped when I did that because I was like, wait a second, I can't click on home. I can't click on anything.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So you dodged a bullet.
I dodged a bullet
by trying to click.
And they sent that through my text message.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, the world's scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're saying like we're being asked to survive.
Yeah.
By the universe.
Yeah.
Crime is more effective too. Like I don't know. Maybe we were lulled into safety, in the .com boom and the housing boom, and life was always as dangerous as it ever was, and it's just coming full circle now.
Yeah.
It's more transparent.
Now that life is in survival mode too, people. The things that people do to survive, the desperate measures that people go through, I think has been massaged a little bit by. And it's too late to change it now, but I think it's been massaged by our media, so through the entertainment that we watch and things. It always talks about an archetype of a hero or heroine that has to do things at all cost.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think is going to happen when things get really hard? Everyone's been hardwired to justify to themselves, this is a desperate situation. This is about my family. This is about my life.
Mm-hmm.
If everybody feels the same way, that's going to be trouble if things get really hard.
Like if everyone's willing to take up arms to feed their family or just in their own sense of the word, do the ultimate sacrifice on behalf of their kin.
It's seen to be as a noble virtue in this culture.
Yeah. What an interesting way to look at storytelling.
Everything that we watch and everything that we see. I just saw War of the Worlds. Have you ever seen that movie with Tom Cruise?
I have.
Tom Cruise.
I've read the book.
It had so much collateral the book probably is not like the movie.
Yeah.
Not at all,
maybe
I would probably imagine.
So maybe I've only read the book.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'd rather have read the book. I'd rather have heard that little 1930s thing. But there was so much collateral damage where, like, so many people... There was even a scene in that movie where he kills a guy because the guy's freaking out.
Wow.
And why does he kill the guy? Because he's got to protect his family at all costs. I'm Tom Cruise. Mm-hmm. This is what matters in hard times. We have to make hard decisions for our family.
And that's the drama of it.
I
mean, maybe the writer thinks the right answer is to keep the guy living. but it's entertainment. It's supposed to provoke emotion. So it's like, wow, he did it. He actually did it.
He did it for his family, for his daughter. He took that man's life.
That's amazing.
And in hindsight, when you think about it like as a thinking person, like, okay, aliens just invaded the world. This guy is crazy. I can appreciate why he would be going crazy. Yeah. We call that trauma.
Desperation.
we call it PTSD.
Lizard brain.
We don't go into a room and beat him up for the sake of kill him for the sake of our daughter. And then the funny thing about that movie is like at the end of the movie, like they get sick and they die. So what did you kill that guy for anyway?
I know. This is like East versus West philosophy. The group supreme or is the individual supreme? And what I'm hearing from you is like we've perverted the individual story to its full extent. Like it's too much focus on heroics of the individual himself.
The noble goals of the individual, huh?
Yeah, we need to find a balance.
Here
we need
to
renew a
Favorite
balance.
Scripture: love thy neighbor.
Love thy neighbor.
I'm a solutions-based guy. Okay,
you are.
Like I'm not. You know, if you show love to the person who's next to you, like true, genuine love, that means you consider them or you give them the same patience that you give yourself. And let's face it, people give themselves a long leash on patience. You know what I mean?
You mean people are willing to lose their own patience quickly?
Generally, people are pretty kind to themselves.
Kind to themselves. Interesting.
Yeah. So if we showed each other the same, other people the same leash we give ourselves, like that would ease a lot of pain just pretty naturally. You don't have to prescribe to anything to see the merits of that.
Mm-hmm. The golden rule.
Unfortunately, some people are just evil, and I'm not saying life is black and white. But there are some true bad guys.
Well, some traumas can be so deep that recovering from them would probably kill the person. Maybe. That's what I've thought.
What do you mean?
Well, there's PTSD, and it's like it takes so much effort and healing and time to recover. But what if the wound is so deep that facing it, I mean, people died of grief historically. You know, that's something we don't use that phrasing anymore. Mm-hmm. But life is brutal. Yeah. Biology itself is brutal. You ever heard?
They said Jesus died of grief. There's an account where he gets poked and water and blood comes out. Uh-huh. That is a medical symptom of great sadness.
Oh wow! The mixture of water and blood, and not blood alone.
Yeah.
Wow.
So. Yeah, there is some grief that's unrecoverable. I thought for a long time that maybe the grief I was facing was unrecoverable.
Yeah,
I had a heart attack, and the heart attack I had it took away 40% of my heart. Like it was not like it wasn't minor. Like I could see when they did that catheter thing, I could see where part of my heart was no longer beating, and the only thing that was beating was the top part of my heart. You know, to
see it.
You know, yeah. And then to live in an environment where nobody really cared. Like to go through that trauma and be like, wow, this doesn't matter.
Was your mom there?
She was really gone at that point.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Is this why you take aspirin? Your heart maintenance? Okay, cool. I put it all together. I thought that might be a cheeky answer. So meaningful. Since you started your journey.
You should have an episode where you do Sudoku puzzles.
Yeah, we can do anything. How about you pick the next segment of the show? Where would you like to take it? Because I have some pat questions.
Hope this isn't too long. You can edit a lot out.
No, we're doing great. Okay. We're doing great. I'm not going to edit it at all. This has been lovely. Since starting your journey as a professional musician, what's been the biggest disappointment?
I got fired from my first tour.
Really?
Yep.
What type of tour?
It was the Miss Saigon, the first national of Miss Saigon. Super expensive, super swanky, $1 million. All of the ones, the other one was like that too. Fortunately, I was able to do another one on that scale. But I got fired. I was in the Aladdin Casino in Las Vegas, and the assistant conductor told me, he said, "We're firing you because the conductor wanted you gone in the first place." And I was like, oh.
So it wasn't with cause. It was like a non-fit in his mind from the beginning?
Yeah. And it's funny because that conductor had got fired. The first conductor got fired. And when they got fired, they were just like, pretty much they did it to do due diligence to the conductor that was there before.
Interesting. So the guy that didn't want you in the first place wasn't even there anymore, but they followed through.
The woman. Yeah.
Okay. They followed through on her wish.
Yeah. They did, but and also blacklisted her from conducting again on that scale, I think.
Wow, so that is was it devastating? Was it water under the bridge?
It was embarrassing.
Embarrassing.
But here's the thing. I wasn't there.
Yeah.
I wasn't there.
So you felt like you never really
I was
had
too
it.
young.
You never really had it anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could maybe justify that I had it in my own mind, but in retrospect, looking at the musician that I am now and seeing what the insight I have, I didn't have any of those things for that particular show.
So your character's been built.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
It's good to learn how to take losses like that.
Losses, yeah.
If you want to get good,
yeah.
If you want to get good, take a loss.
Oh my gosh.
Because if you build yourself in a delusion, I feel like you can get caught in the politics of yourself.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And then you begin to trash other people for the sake of your own.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't like, and now you're a person that's built around this guy sucks and this guy sucks and this guy sucks and this guy sucks. Trust me, I don't spend any time thinking about who sucks. There's no point in wasting my time thinking about who sucks.
You do look up to people. You think about people that are better.
I think I feel like with music in particular and jazz music in particular, it's more about a purity of voice, and I feel like they're holding out their hand saying, "Keep that purity. Just keep searching for that purity." I don't feel like it's necessarily a competition, but I in the same breath I'd say that very few people understand that that's true, or maybe that's just my way of seeing things, and then there's a lot of other types of ways of seeing things too. But I feel like there's a place in music that we haven't graduated to, and certain musicians have come through and taken us along where it's supposed to go. But I don't feel like nobody's really doing that right now.
So you're looking for a pure career. You want to maintain.
I guess what I'm trying to say is there's a higher thing of what music is for that I don't think has been captured yet. Wow. Maybe it's just me being like, that's my X-Files perspective.
I love it.
It's just something that we do that hasn't reached its full potential.
Yeah, and I think it's human nature to strive to wonder what's over the next hills.
Do you ever hear about the pyramids? Like how they built the pyramids? It's been said, and I'm not saying it's true, but it makes me think that part of the way that they were moving those giant blocks was by manipulating sound waves.
I think that just came out. Viral news.
Oh, really? I heard it a long time ago.
I came across it. Okay, so
yeah. And it's
gotta
just
be something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if that can be true, like what else can be true with the power of sonic information? Maybe this is a higher way for us to communicate. Maybe this is a way higher than talking, or there's a way higher than talking inside of it.
It is. I mean, music's universal language. I guess they say mathematics is physics. People that know physics. What's the word?
Physicists?
It's not physician. Yeah. Physicists would say it's physics, but the emotional universal language is music, and it's mathematical.
So maybe there's a language inside of there that we can all afford to learn, and in time we will adapt to learn.
Yeah.
But right now, I just feel like it's for everyone. It's a tool of survival, and because it's a tool for survival, any progression in that aspect has kind of been sullied by people's intention to just be able to support themselves. No disrespect, but without the pressure of having to survive as a musician, what would music be? Why would we play it? What would we endeavor to aspire to be?
And that's what you're trying to kindle.
Yeah. And that's also part of the 10 years I spent without music is I was wrestling with like music theory questions in my mind. I was trying to learn piano because piano is the calculator of music, at least Western music.
Calibrator? Yeah. Or it's like, everyone references the piano?
You can measure things with the piano.
You literally
like this calculator. Is an A major chord. You can plug in the distances and you'll get the same answer every time. I wouldn't even have to tell you what the chord, how to play piano. I could just tell you, go this distance, go this distance, go this distance, and you'll have an answer. and you can do it in every situation, and you'll have the same answer in a different key.
I've heard this. If you learn music theory, it's sort of magic.
Yeah, some people say it takes the joy out of it, but I don't think it does. I think what instrument you play has a lot to do with what music. I'm a bass player naturally, so my role of understanding music was very rigid. Now that I'm teaching violin and cello, my concept of what music is expanded exponentially. Now I see more as a family with roles and ebbs and flows. And I actually heard that playing violin, depending on what instrument you have, develops your brain differently. Like if you're playing violin all your life, your brain melds in a certain way that it wouldn't if you were a bass player or a cello player. Mm-hmm. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. Do you think one person can handle 10 different instruments then? Could you make all those neural connections? And
it depends what the goal is.
Yeah.
Like just like a RPG or everybody has their role. I'm a video game guy kind of. Everybody has their. If my role of music is to be a championship acrobatic, and what I mean is by acrobatic is somebody who can, jump around and do a lot of arpeggios and has the virtue. If that's my goal, I think that can be achieved on multiple instruments. Mm-hmm. To achieve virtue, to sing with a sincere voice on every instrument, you got to be the one. I think probably maybe Mozart, Bach, or some guys like that could do it.
Wow.
I think it's to have a sincere voice like that on every instrument. Maybe it's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there was Michael Phelps. I know swimming really well, and he beat every specialist in 2008. And he was a generalist. Yeah, got 8 gold medals.
What do you mean generalist?
He was a generalist. He could swim the individual medley, which is a mix of all the strokes. And he won butterfly races. He won freestyle races, both middle distance freestyle races. What else did he do? Yeah, I mean, his breaststroke, which is usually the oddball stroke that specialists absolutely win in. Mm-hmm. Like his split on the individual medley was as strong as the breaststroke.
We are saying the same thing. Yeah. That's tough.
Yeah, exactly. Like to be better than the best violin player, if you're a composer, like how does that happen?
I mean, I say I'm hard pressed to say the best, but I think if you're expressing yourself with the fullest of your emotion, and you know what you're saying, and I don't think you can get any higher than that. And it's hard to measure who's the best at doing that. Mm-hmm. Who has the best ear, or but to do that on every instrument, whew. Boy, what a mind you'd have to have.
So to circle back, biggest disappointment was getting fired from Miss Saigon. Yeah. Since you started your journey as a professional musician, what's been the biggest surprise? The most pleasant surprise?
Coming to Los Alamos and being recognized. Because I hadn't really played music out in 10 years. When I came to Los Alamos, New Mexico, and to be in a defeated state, in the wake of a heart attack, in the wake of my mom dying, in the wake of never being validated for anything I'd done musically, and I was a defeated individual. But the feeling that I got when I was brought back into the fold of to play music again by Ryan, that was the biggest surprise, because I really guess I came to New Mexico to die.
Really?
Yeah.
To die
not
in
to
a
live.
long time, or to die slowly?
Not to live.
Just not to live.
I didn't come here with the consideration that I would be able to live and enjoy life.
Wow.
That was something that was unfolded as I've been here. Uh-huh. That's the greatest surprise. I can't even point it to one specific thing, except that Los Alamos was the catalyst for being discovered and being able to play.
And what is Los Alamos? What are you referring to?
The middle school.
The middle school.
Brian Finn. Yeah.
Okay.
He doesn't believe it, but it's just true.
Wow.
Him recognizing my ability was what enabled me to teach lessons again, to work with the school system like I do again, and in a capacity of great flexibility in my teaching style too. It's been really nice. So being able to do that was like a new lease on life, and a new perspective on myself, because I was a defeated person, and I'm still building myself beyond that. It's only been 6 years or so. So.
Wow. You've been here for 6 years?
Yeah.
I've been here for 8.
Okay.
My life started to turn around at year 6. It took me a long time.
I've heard somebody say that too about being out here 6 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Amazing. I only feel half bit rebuilt and half healed, but I like to joke, like ironically, that means I'm ready to leave New Mexico. You know, like I'm healthy enough to put my shit in a U-Haul. Like I could not do that until year 8. So we'll see what becomes of me.
Yeah. Well, I just hope the best for you. That's all.
Thank you.
I want you. That's just all.
So we've done just about everything. I want to go to the clay pot, which is a collection of fan
clay
questions.
Pot.
We're gonna pull out.
Clay pot.
Yeah, a few.
Excellent.
You can submit a fan question. Just hit me up on any social channel, including the YouTube comments. Tag your Instagram handle.
I feel like when you say clay pot, you need a camera to go in and out. Clay pot.
We can show it.
Clay pot.
I don't know. Maybe. How about you pull them out for yourself?
Oh, I was just saying clay pot.
Yeah, there we go. We got the visual.
Pot.
So the first fan question comes from @Josiah G on Instagram. What's something embarrassing you do when no one is home or you're alone?
Push-ups.
Yeah? You're embarrassed?
I'm
Why?
obsessed with push-ups.
The obsession embarrasses
Oh,
you.
I'm embarrassed because like I feel like I do push-ups and I don't have I'm not like a super fit guy.
Yeah, so you're not going to do them out on the track.
Nah.
You're hiding them, and that's what
Yeah.
makes it embarrassing. Well,
Yeah.
that's it. That sounds like a healthy answer. Why? You'll be the first ever guest to pull out your own fan question. Dig in the pot.
Woo!
Read out the Instagram handle. Maybe you don't even have to read the question.
Bam bam. @ABQ, what's up? Are we living in a simulation? How do you know? I mean, what does the simulation mean?
Well, it's really like God the designer, that there's some higher intelligence that set us up. We might just be a video game or computer code. We're just a hologram that has all these variables, and we're living, experiencing the variables. But it's all sort of, there's an algorithm that predicts the future. We're just not aware of it.
That's interesting. That's an interesting question.
Mm-hmm. As a gamer,
I just feel like we watch too many movies. So this question here. This is a product of watching too many movies. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, movies are hyper real. High drama is hyper real. It's like it's a whole life lived in 2 hours.
I always told myself, but it's also like it is a manifestation of our imagination, right?
Uh-huh.
We can imagine a lot of things, right?
Uh-huh.
Is it a simulation? Well, I haven't found the cheat code yet.
Yeah. Oh my.
Because if I had a cheat code, I'd put in, where's my money cheat code?
I almost feel like the kings and pharaohs of ages old, maybe they had the cheat code, you know?
I think that life is an anti-simulation. As a matter of fact, it's as real as it gets. This life couldn't get more realer. We're just fortunate. This is a first world question. That's what I'll call that. No disrespect to the asker.
Yeah.
But like, if we were living in a hut, and cooking, lighting fires with plastic bottles, for our dinner.
Wow.
Would we be asking ourselves if we're in a simulation? I doubt it.
No. Hang out in a rainstorm. And life is real.
Life is as real. It can be as real as it gets.
Yeah, try to keep a fire going in a downpour.
How many questions do I get?
Let's do one more.
All right.
Unless you want to go deep.
Thanks, Brian. I really appreciate this opportunity. I just like talking to you. Hope I haven't said anything embarrassing or too divisive.
No. Great guest. I'm enjoying talking to you too.
Oh, good.
So easy, so fun.
I like your cadence, man. Let's see. Hello there, Olivia. What's your favorite smell? Chocolate cake. Oh.
The smell of chocolate cake.
Oh.
I know the smell. You're right. It's like a wet sponge and tasting chocolate at the same time.
Good chocolate cake.
Yeah.
Or like a chocolate chip cookie.
Yeah. So maybe you get a little caffeine hit, a little sugar hit. So you're doing a little bit more than aspirin. Yeah. Let's do another one. That was a quick answer.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't want to say that word on the air.
Oh.
No problem. Oh, here's a nice one. At Felix Violins. What is my earliest memory? It's funny that this question, because I had an incident that I lost my memory in the 7th grade. Breakdancing with my cousin Sharita. We were little kids, and and my cousin Sharita's dancing with me at grandma's house, and we're getting in it, and I got on my head, and I started spinning, and then I hit the table and wiped out. And I remember the pain and the shock of like,
oh
yeah.
Trauma's the greatest teacher. It seems to create the deepest memories too, the deepest grooves in our soul. That's fascinating, but it was fun. It was, It
was a fun memory, and also I always think of that when I think of myself as being an entertainer too. Because I always have had a desire to want to impress the people I'm around. I think that's what really at the heart of who I am as a person is. I love to. And I love for people to be entertained. I want to see people happy.
Mm-hmm.
I love to impress people, and I want to reach people. Mm-hmm. But also on the musical side, I love music, and I love to ask questions about the whys and hows and the different aspects of it. So the marriage of all those things, I guess, makes a person who really will go all out. Oh, and I have that sports aspect of me too. So I'm kind of like a competitive in a sports sense.
Yes.
And that's really, to me, when you get to high level entertainment like Broadway and stuff like that, it's competitive in that kind of way. You
do the preparation like a pro athlete, exactly. And then you got to execute.
It's not personal. It's not an affront on someone's desire. I feel like when I say these things to people, they're like, well, I want to be a musician. You think that you just because you did Broadway doesn't mean I can be. I'm not saying that at all.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that at that level, there's a determination that is exceptional.
Yeah, for the glory of God is one way humans have said it.
It rivals probably the NBA. Yes.
The drive you have.
Yeah.
Is as strong as the people that played in Game 6 last night.
And the people who want to get there are working to aspire to those things, or are already there and just waiting for a seat at the table. Some people are waiting to get old enough that their look is relevant to the needs of,
so ambitious, but in a healthy way.
Yeah. It's about the love of the craft and determination to be excellent at it.
Yeah,
it's not about ambition.
It's not ambition. It's stewardship.
Maybe stewardship. It is, but it's a recognition that the ambition is irrelevant if the ability isn't there.
Wow. So you're raising money for elementary orchestra? GoFundMe?
Oh, good. She's gonna love that you mentioned this.
So we'll pull it out as a clip. You got $1,100 remaining to raise. This is very achievable.
This is for Erica Solano's music class for next year. She has an orchestra at her school, Hayes Elementary, and she's trying to raise money for kids to have private lessons. COVID, it really set back the education. Music education. It did. First of all, it disconnected kids from themselves, and with something like string instruments, there's things like you can't teach a child who doesn't know how to play an instrument how to tune one. Violin is pretty complex instrument to tune. Cello, string bass is a little easier. Viola, those are difficult instruments to even tune, let alone play. So they came out of COVID without the ability to do a lot of things, and it really reset their opportunity. Part of what I do individually is I try to make myself totally available to making sure that just like with all of my students and anyone I'm around, I try to make sure they can fulfill whatever they're trying to fulfill and help the teachers get the kids up to on par so they can play music that is that they can enjoy and at a higher level. On an individual basis, I want to make sure the kids have some knowledge of how to play their instruments that makes being in the classroom a lot easier, how to read music. So that's what she's raising money for, really. It's just
I saw in the GoFundMe page, it said, as an example, $30, as little as $30 will go to a 30-minute private lesson, a pull-out lesson, to help an individual player return to the orchestra at a higher level.
Exactly. And I don't think people recognize how much that can help someone's life.
Yeah.
To prepare an elementary schooler to get into middle school with music at a higher level, not only the things that the music does inside, but there's opportunities that are created later through playing music as well. Mm-hmm. Some of these kids are able to afford their educations. Some of them are able to, especially my young bass players, because everyone needs a bass player. People who have no financial opportunity at all can pick up a bass play and be in a band. Mm. And guess what? Now you're working. Mm-hmm. Now you're making money for yourself. Or maybe that wasn't going to be realistic before.
Turn some unskilled labor into some highly skilled labor.
Yeah. But also, I really value the element of when everyone is capable of doing something and getting together and being able to work together. Mm-hmm. That is a lost art as well. Being able to play as a team, mm-hmm. being able to be submissive to a greater vision, mm-hmm. higher than your desires, mm-hmm. higher than what you feel. Mm-hmm. Like, sit down and play the part. It's going to sound great. Play your part. It's going to sound great. That's a valuable lesson. There's something to be said in that, I think, as a human. Uh-huh. And so to be able to help kids to explore a greater range with music, I think is valuable and imperative even. And so that the money that Erica Solano is putting together for her group will help facilitate that. And I thank you because I'm here to help. I work with a company called Performance Santa Fe. There's a lot that I do that I don't put on my Instagram.
There's so much that I read on your Instagram we haven't even talked about.
Yeah.
But Michael and Erica are facilitating this music program on the ground. It already exists. So you out there, help us facilitate the financial side.
Yeah,
Click the link.
Thank you.
It'll be on my link tree or in the bio itself on Instagram at Artist with Brian. You got a new album coming out. You've done music for Meow Wolf. You're collaborating with Devin Hawks Ludlow, guest 10 on this program.
Oh, I love Devin. He's great.
I know.
He's a great guy.
He is great.
Do you know Erica Solano too?
No, I don't think so.
She'd be worth getting in touch
with. Getting on the show.
Yeah,
excellent.
I'll definitely connect you.
Follow Michael at Michael_Burt_music. Is there one more call to action that you want the listeners over the interwebs to go find you or just anything in the universe?
I have a song on YouTube that I've released or on all the platforms called Nothing to Blame. I really like it. It's a simple song. It has kind of old school vibes. I wrote it in the spirit of, believe it or not, Kenny Rogers. Am I thinking Kenny Rogers?
That's you know when to hold him, know when to fold him.
Yeah. But he did some beautiful duets in the past.
Okay.
And I wrote this song kind of thinking in the spirit of that. So I hope you get a chance to check that out. Let's see, Erica's.
And you got some love on that, some internet clout, Tony Kornheiser podcast.
Oh, yeah, that song was. Oh, yeah, Tony Kornheiser, if nobody knows, he's one of the ESPN radio DJs. And I sent the song the day before, and the next day he put it on the show. And I love it because he said, Michael Burt, this is a nice song. Nice song. What a nice song. This is Michael Burt.
Yeah.
It was like, I was like, wow, okay, Tony.
Yeah,
okay,
you're living. If you go see his Instagram, you see Michael's living in an era of his life that's extremely validating. And I hope all the listeners can get there. I imagine I'm inspired by your story. Hopefully you can give me a track or two to play us out in the official release of this show or throughout. Whatever you want. I really appreciate you coming.
Thank you, Brian. I appreciate you too.
It's been very cool.
I can't wait to see your new studio. That's when I want to.
Well, it's so simple now. It's just a wall with some lights.
Like I said,
and I almost like that. It's like coming from an undisclosed location.
Like you said, what do I want? I want to see your perfect vision of how you would want it to be.
Yeah.
Best case scenario.
I think I'd have like a team of 7 employees.
Really, dude?
Just so I don't have to lift a finger. I want people brushing my cheeks with those brushes. No, I'm just kidding. This is good. This is boiled down to the I think the essentials. The guest's facial expressions, the rich audio, and one camera.
I'm a little nervous how scared I'm going to look at certain occasions.
Yeah, I can show you. I can send you a private link to the YouTube before I release.
No problem.
If you just want to feel better about it.
Thanks, Brian.
So thanks again.
Thank you again.
People look him up. Awesome. Bye, everyone.